Yes, people, welcome into yet another pre-match pump up here on We Are Tottenham TV, presented by United Spurs of America, Spurs Kings TV. We got Ash Maddock and three Spurs boys, Bobby K. North of the border for me, the sun is just rising here in El Paso, Texas. I hope you are too blessed to be stressed this fine morning for me. But as the sun rises, folks, so does Tottenham Hotspur fans' expectations and hopes for the season. Ash, welcome in. How are you doing? First pre-match pump up of the season for you. Obviously a familiar face here on Weird Tottenham TV. How are you doing this morning? I guess it's afternoon for you, so.
Yeah, I'm good, my brothers. Big up the chat each and every time. Big up Bobby K. It's been a minute. Old time, my man. Doing wonderful things, hosting the pump up, giving immaculate vibes as always, and bringing us into this show, man. I'm blessed and I'm good to be here, bro.
Very happy that you're here as well. And Bobby K, now you've mentioned you've done a pre-match pump up before, and I'm going to say this is the first one I've ever done with you. We've done many streams
definitely
together.
The first one I did with you, the first pre-match pump-up thing I did. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure it was with David Harris. It was here, but it was a long time ago. And it was a long time ago when I was still basically starting out here. So yeah, lots of mistakes, and I think by now people know that it's better to listen to Ash than me if you want footballing knowledge. So all I can say is it's great to be here with the host with the most, Jacob. You've been doing fantastic on your show, man. You've been blowing it up over here. You know, well done to you, Ash. The knowledge you bring, just I can't even comment on it because I don't have enough knowledge to even just comment on the amount of knowledge you have. So I guess I'm just here for eye candy. So come on, you Spurs!
Well, not just eye candy, Bobby K. I'm also relying on you because you could get people excited. That's why I was like, you know what? No Kate, no Jim. They're at the Everton match today. So you know what? Let them enjoy that. But I figured who else could come in here and really help me get excited about the match coming up? Maybe Ash will bring us both back to ground. He'll be like the young child holding the strings to the balloons that want to fly into the sky, and we'll get there. But Ash, first thing, obviously, punch to the gut this week. Dominic Solanke, who I was hoping to have a very turnaround performance, shall you say. I got to my predictions last week very, very wrong. I predicted a 4-1. Obviously, that's not how things turned out. I'm a little bit more modest this morning, I will be honest, but no Solanke. Who do you have starting as the number 9 for us today? Because if you remember, Dan Kulusevski did operate pretty well there throughout the entirety of the preseason. Richarlison is the literal number 9. Where are you kind of at with that position?
Yeah, I think Andrew will go for Richarlison. Reason being, the last game that he did come on for a few minutes, obviously had a glaring miss. If he had a few more minutes in his legs, I reckon he would have got that chance on target. Hence why you saw Ange bent over like a bad bee. But last season, we did see that Richarlison.
I didn't want to say anything, but I did have this to share with you. That just our luck. You mentioned Ainge bent over, and I wanted to bring up this photo. Now, I'm using this because I like to look at my mistakes and how can I learn from them. Do you think he's learned from them? Is Richarlison going to get that chance? The stat here is just saying that Solanke featured all 38 Premier League matches last season. It's just our luck that he gets to play one game for us, and that's all that we get. But Ash, I'm sorry. Go ahead and continue.
You can't make it up, bro. I think we cursed. I think we did. I'm on a burial grounds, and there's some old Indian skeleton that we did some.
Excuse me.
Some old Indian, Native American.
Those Indians. Oh, okay.
We did some kind of like burial in the stadium, and that's why we're forever cursed. I don't know. We probably did some Illuminati type of stuff. I don't know.
Or we just have a medical staff that doesn't know how to do their job.
Well, the dude who was in charge of our physio, we did have a change of that in this summer, so I had some hope.
This is what I'm saying to you, but cursed, because I don't know if the Levies have done the dance with the Rothschilds or whatever. I don't know. I should get into that, but yeah, I don't know. We ain't got no luck, is all I'm saying. But coming back to the question, Richarlison,
we do have luck. It's just bad luck, Ash.
Yeah. Okay. Bad luck. Bad luck is what it is. But Richarlison is the number 9. He was like he had the number 9 shirt, and he's trying to fight for that place. So from what I read from the presses, from what Andrew was saying, it looks like he will get his chance because he was saying with Kulu, he was put out there because they never had a striker there. It was out of force. Even though I thought Kulu led the line really well, linked the play quite well with him and Son. And I thought at the end of last season when he played against Sheffield United, who were relegated, I thought he scored that goal. He did well. And also at Luton, I don't know if you guys remember when we went down to 10 men, he led the line well there as well. So he's a player also. When he was at Parma, before he went to Juventus, he actually played a false nine as well. So he's able to hold the ball up, run in behind, link play. He's got all the attributes. When he's closer to goal, he's more likely to shoot and score. So I just thought, yeah, Kulu would have been a good option. But I just think, yeah, from what I read of the press, as I said before, I think he's going to go for Richarlison.
Bobby, with that news, how are you feeling about the Dominic Solanke thing? Obviously, Drew versus Leicester. Martin here. Big up everybody in the chat. I do see you. I will try and interact as much as possible. You know, this is quite a hefty channel here. Last week we had about 1,600 people, and it was very difficult to go through all of the chat. I'll be very honest, but you know, we're nearing about 200 right now. And speaking of nearing 200, I was just thinking the sun's not really up yet. I need that like Sunny D orange juice in my cup type of feeling, and I figured who better than go all the way to the East Coast of America. Let's bring in another guy. We've got Nick Lazy 8 from last week. If you forgot, he's here to remind you. It looks fabulous behind you, Nick. How are you feeling this morning?
Yeah, where the hell is he? That's
Bobby boy, Ash. I don't know if you can hear me.
Can
you guys hear me?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you're good, bro. You're good. Good to see you, man.
Because the universe is already conspiring against me over here. I had major technical difficulties. Had to basically throw the laptop over the side here, try to see if somebody could bring it back to me, turn it back on again. I'm checking in from beautiful Long Beach, New York, on the island of Long, home of the McMansions and the mob. Spending a little time out here with the family. Figure why not?
Looks nice, buddy.
Well, figure why not? I guess Tottenham figure why not release the lineup before normal time that they release the lineup. Pick up the chat. Y'all mentioned the Tottenham, Tip Top Tottenham. Wilson starts. Tyler Barella lineup is out. And look, this is something I called for. I needed Odegaard to start for me. That means Son effectively through the middle based on this, with Johnson there starting on the right-hand side. Kulusevski, Madison, Bissouma in the midfield. So no Papa Matasar. And then obviously the back four and the goalkeeper, which we all expected. Vicario, Pedro Porro, Cuti Romero, and Mickey Van de Veen. Destiny, Udogi. Always love to see him in the lineup. But look, the midfield is where I want to get to second. But first, let's start with the attack, because this is where I needed some shaking and baking, some moving and grooving. But for me, last year, Sonny in the 9 was a little bit disappointing. Let me just go ahead. Let's start with Sunshine himself down there. Nick, where are you at? Some through the middle, shocked. Maybe Odegaard through the middle. I don't know, but Ainge did say yesterday he sees Wilson Odegaard as a guy who can excel left, central, and on the right. He can use him wherever. It kind of sounds like he's going to use him on the left, though. Where are you at?
I guess I'm trying to figure out why he and Johnson are on the pitch at the same time. That's really where what I'm confused at, and Kulusevski as well. Plus, you have Madison there, clearly a 10, unless he's going to do the 2 8s kind of a thing. I got to tell you, I'm confused right now, man. When, it's not the worst thing in the world to be confused sometimes. Maybe this is a trick up the sleeve right now. Maybe this is a whole reset of attacking football. Maybe this is an all-out attack is what we're looking at here. I gotta say, I mean, I guess it's going to be Son through the middle, but just maybe not, though. Maybe not. Let's say
maybe Kulu's going to drift into those spaces
and doing a kind of a false 9, or maybe just a more traditional 9 right there. Let's just imagine for a second that Son is still on the left. Where does everybody else play? Does Odegaard play in the middle with?
Preferably Johnson on the bench for me. The Johnson thing's got me a little perplexed because my immediate thought was keep Son on the left, Odegaard for Johnson. And then that's where the coin flip. That's why I opened the show with talking about Solanke, or the Solanke injury, and who are you going to start, Richarlison or Kulusevski? Ash, for you, what do you think? How is this deciphering to you? Where do you think Son through the middle is my most obvious answer? I don't know.
It might be a change in formation, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Might be a change in formation. Because there's been a whole debate, does Ange adapt? Does he adapt? And now we're seeing Son, Odegaard, Johnson, and you've got Kulusevski that could play the false nine, 4 attacking options right there. So there could be a possibility where we do see something a bit different. Where maybe you see Son out wide. It's hard to call, man. Yeah, maybe Son is in the false nine. I can't really call it because Odegaard looks like an out and out winger. Johnson's definitely an out and out winger. So yeah, I'm interested to see how it sets up. In fact, I want to go on SofaScore right now and see how they've done that.
Do we have a look on the bench over there?
So on the bench, very good point. And Bobby, I'll throw it to you next. We got Fraser Forster instead of Brandon Austin. I don't know what he did wrong, but Brandon Austin is not on the bench. We got Fraser Forster.
He's probably hurt too.
At this rate, Jed Spence, Ben Davies, Radu Dragusin, Archie Gray, Papa Montessar, Lucas Bergvall, Timo Werner, and Richarlison. So no Mikey Moore again, no Will Lancashire. Bobby, what's your initial feeling on this lineup? How are you seeing things? Do you think it's going to be a new formation? I don't know. I'm open to the idea of it. I don't think it's going to be a new formation, though.
But you look at those front three, and all three, like if I remember correctly, and you guys will definitely know this better than I do, but didn't Johnson play in a center forward role as well when he was at Forest?
Yeah, he did
a couple of times.
So
yeah,
you got all three of our attackers that can kind of transition into each other's roles. So I wonder if, like you said, Ash, do you see that there's an actual system change there? Is there a
change? I just remember there was a couple games where we switched it up. I think it was Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City. I think those were the games where we kind of tweaked it. And I remember when Sarr was almost like a false nine. Do you remember that game in Man City when he was kind of doing?
No, but I remember Sarr's last game where I thought he was absolutely dreadful. Oh, because that was only a week.
He's not on the pitch, so you ain't got to worry about that. So
yeah, I honestly, I don't understand how this guy got away the whole week without being raked over the coals the way some other players were. But that's my opinion. But go on.
I think possibly what we did was we had Son and Johnson almost playing as a front two, and then what happened was the other players were out wide, so it was almost like a 4-4-2, but it was something on the cusp of that. Do you know what I mean? Where we had the two wide players, Son and Johnson, they were like the front two players, but they drifted out wide at times, and sometimes they played a bit narrow. So it'll be interesting to see how they set up. I'm very intrigued.
Would this basically be a 4-3-3 though, with the one in the hold, with Basuma kind of just playing back, and Madison and Kulu playing forward, and then you have Sonny.
It could be quite simple. Yeah, it could be like as you said, a 4-3-3 straight down the middle with Son playing the false nine, Kulu playing as the right 8, and then Madison playing as the left 8, and Basuma as the 6. You know
but how are we feeling about seeing Basuma come in? Do you think he's already been forgiven, or is this more out of necessity? To me, man, it's like this guy. I liked what Ange had to say, though. It's like it's a kid that's pissed off his daddy and has to work his way back. That's right, son. Get your ass out there. You cut that grass. You go up there and get up that ladder and take down them Christmas lights. It's July.
That's a great point, though, Bobby. Because no, that's a great point, though, because honestly, I was very curious yesterday when I was trying to predict the lineup. Is Basuma, how quick? What is the punishment? Whenever it was initially coming out, I always said, look, I am not Judge Judy. I am not judge, jury, executioner. I'm not here to say how long, what his punishment should be. That's Ainge and the club to decide that. But for me, it was stupid. He got a slap on the wrist, and you know what? We move. How else are you going to prove that you've learned your lesson if you're not given the opportunity? So I'm not, that doesn't really bother me in any way.
He said that, though. And you and I, as fathers, basically, we kind of agree with that. We got to give the opportunity to the child. They've messed up. They learned from their mistake. And, we look at these guys and we think, they're professional footballers. But at the end of the day, how old is Basuma? 26?
27. He'll be 28 at the end of this month.
28.
Yeah.
He'll be 28. That's a little bit old to be, the kid in high school
that
doing
kind of
fun
mistake.
things.
Yeah.
But do you not think
he's 28? Okay, so he's not a kid then.
Do you think he's like more of a maverick type? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, because you've got.
But has he had this history?
I don't know. I'm just trying to throw
he's had his issues, man. He's had his issues when he's been in the press. There's something going on there. There's something in his life he's got to really sort out right now. And the whole trust and ability for Ange to rely on him, I think, is a huge issue. However, we got Bentancur out, and we got Gray, who doesn't look like like he's ready to go 100%. Are you going to shoot yourself in the foot and not play him because of optics? Absolutely not, especially not after last week. I want the best possible player. I don't care what he did. You got two kids and you need the lawn mowed, and one kid took the car out last night when he wasn't supposed to, but the other kid got locked up. You're gonna send the kid that just took the car out to mow the lawn because he's still there. You're not gonna say, "Oh, you got to go back."
No. I'm gonna go bail the other one out and drag his ass home and make him do it.
Okay, well, that's how they do it in Canada when everything's a little upside down.
Yeah, everything's a little backwards up there. They say when you get a little bit too north of the equator. But anyway, back to
no, it's not snowing here. In case you were wondering.
I was actually a little wondering how cold it is. I see the jacket got it zipped up real tight to the neck, so I figured
it's like 24 degrees already, and these guys got the AC cranked up. It's like a fridge in the basement here.
You sound like my wife. I always keep that AC cranked up. But look,
your wife has an Indian accent.
Only slightly. Madison, Basuma, Kulusevski is the, I guess, proposed midfield here. I don't know if it's just too early in the morning here in the mountain time zone in America that I'm like, my brain does not compute this. How are we lining this up? The only way it makes sense is Son through the middle, Decky, Madison in the midfield have worked together. I would have liked to see Bergvall somewhere worked in there. I think he's ready. Clearly, Ainge thinks different. I haven't seen him play Madison and Bergvall at the same time either. So I guess it's becoming quite clear that I think Bergvall is the backup for James Madison, effectively. That's kind of my presumption here. But look, I'm also going to pull up Everton's lineup. But we do know, if you didn't know, they have quite an extensive list of injuries. Two key players in there. So it looks like Tarkowski has made their lineup. So I'm going to go ahead and share this. Is SofaScore's obviously got us in a 4-3-3, Ash. I know you were waiting to look at SofaScore's formation setup. They always get our formation wrong because, look, they have Basuma in the 10 and Madison as our left mid. So the formation, this is what Jacob, SofaScore says. I wouldn't put too much stock into it.
Wasn't there a thing that basically was saying with Tarkowski's injury that they're pretty much even struggling to field the starting team?
Yes, but looks like Tarkowski made it. That was
14 players injured and out or something, isn't it?
Their right back was in. Their right back's 14? Injured.
Wow.
It was a lot of senior names. I have a list and it's bookmarked somewhere. I'll pull it up and we'll look at it. But they're riddled with injuries. But with or without injuries, my expectations will always remain the same in regards to we are a superior team. We should go ahead and take care of this. That's how I felt last week, and there's been egg on my face ever since, and I finally washed it off. But Ash, with all their injuries, for me, I'm saying with or without injuries, we must. Is this a must win for you with all their injuries, with the drop points last week, with the upcoming schedule ahead? Look, I'm throwing a lot at you with that one question, Ash, but I need to know, is this a must win?
I'm going to bring up the elephant in the room, and that's Brennan Johnson. A lot of fans were looking for him to be dropped today, and it looks like Ange has his favorites. I'm not going to lie, because Brennan.
You think Brennan Johnson is a favorite?
Well, he didn't play too well last game, did he? Unless you guys think different. I don't know. Like,
the first 15 minutes was good. Outside of that, no. In my opinion,
I thought there was a question mark to say, look, Brennan Johnson, maybe he's not the kind of winger that Ange probably wants moving forward, and maybe you're gonna put Son on the left, put Odegaard on the right, and then just either have Kulu, Son. I mean, have either Kulu or Richie up top. That would make more sense, no? Clearly, Richie's not fit enough. That's why he's not starting. So then you'd think, all right, cool, maybe put Kulu there in the false nine as before. But I think Johnson's maybe he's a favorite. I think that's the question. That's a conversation to be had in my opinion. But I think we should put them to the sword. I think he's gone for an ultra attacking team. I think we're going to do the whole, 2 at the back, so 2-3-5 in possession, where we kind of strangle them, 5 attackers at the base of their box, pinning them all the way back. I think what they look to do is sit in a low block, dice style, and when they hit us in a counter attack, like they did last time, they're going to look to find McNeil or Jack Harrison on those channels, and sometimes they will switch to play to either flank, and then they will try to find Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the actual box to finish home in the headers. So our defenders have to be on point and try to stop those crosses from coming in like we did against Leicester.
Yeah,
or like we didn't against Leicester.
Oh, we'll be fine. We got Van de Ven back there.
But that was a great thing that I saw outside. But that's a good point as well with Van de Ven, Bobby. But specifically, I thought that first half we did a fantastic job of preventing the counterattacks. So often last year, 1-2 passes, split wide open, then it's up to Vicario to save us. But what I saw in the first half specifically, I'm talking about last week, was every time we gave up possession in their half and they counterattacked us, we stopped it after the first pass, or we even sometimes prevented that first pass. And stuffing their counterattack before they can actually get that thing going was really big for me. And obviously Van de Ven's a huge factor in that, but he wasn't the only one. I mean, I saw even Pedro Porro stopping a fast break at one point, Destiny Udogie. So for me, I think that there has been little minor tweaks and adjustments to the way players are positionally and at the time in which they make those runs. If you look at Destiny's positioning on the heat map last week, is a lot different than what he was doing last year. Last year, a lot more central, a lot more drifting into the kind of left striker position, and this time he was hugging the touchline more,
even a
linking
Cam
up with
kind of rule.
Yeah, and people were saying he clogged up James Maddison's way, and the heat map says there's an area on the pitch in which they overlap, yes, but majority otherwise, no. So I have been wanting to see some minor tweaks, some minor adjustments. Like I found this list. This is one of the bookmarks I had. I don't know if there's a more updated list. It says Tarkowski is a doubt, but he is in the starting lineup. But effectively, they are missing Seamus Coleman, Patterson, Garner, Jared Braithwaite, and Trimidi. Now, Trimidi's a young striker. I don't really think that's a blow to them. I didn't think that he starts either way. Someone correct me here. Has Trimidi been a frequent starter for Everton? I don't think he has. But Nick, let me ask you a question here. Same question actually that I threw to everyone else, which is Everton's injuries, yes or no? Is this a must win? I've seen in the chat, Killer Rabbit said yes, it is a must win. I felt as though it is a must win. People have told me I've been dramatic by saying it's a must win. Where are you at? Do we?
You're
have
a little
to win
dramatic.
This?
You're a little dramatic, Jacob. I mean, everybody wants a soundbite. Everybody wants a soundbite.
Jacob,
I mean,
never.
Is it a must win? Does that mean our season's over if we don't win this match? I mean, I don't really think so. I think it's that people are going to lose their minds. People are going to be jumping out the window for sure. But they're doing that right now before the ball's even been kicked. Anyway, right now, man, I think it's going to be a terrible look all around. Ange is not getting sacked if we lose this match. I mean, unless something really horrible happens. He's certainly trying something new with this lineup to shake things up a little bit, and I like that. But I don't think if we lose 1-0, I don't think he's getting sacked, and I don't think he's walking either. But I think there's the pressure is going to be on majorly all around the board, man. Ash was talking about the elephant in the room. I think we're talking about the limp gazelle on the pitch as far as Johnson, because I'm very surprised that, I'll say it again, that both he and Odebear are on the pitch at the same time. And I don't hate Johnson at all, but I find Ad should be very
pragmatic. Hate is a strong word, but when you watch him, do you get filled with joy? Do you think, wow, this guy's about to do something fantastic?
I kind of feel like, he's that kid that gets picked on a lot at school that you kind of like and that you're hoping, is hoping he's going to win the race and he's going to stick up for himself. And I'm like,
I feel you.
All right, good,
because
good,
I do.
And
I do feel that way.
Right when he gets the final ball, is just a mess. And you were talking about the way play was building up in the first half. And I loved everything about how we were playing in the first half, except for the final ball. But clearly there was a plan that's been trained about player movement and understanding where everybody else is on the pitch and what you're supposed to do when your counterpart on your team has the ball and where you're supposed to be moving. And it was working out great, as far as that goes, up until we conceded. You know, and even when we first came out in that second half, I thought we had lost the initiative anyway too. But you know, there's things I'm worried about there as far as why Johnson is there and Odebear are there. And the question I got in my mind is, well, it's a question of did he want to take Sarr off because something wasn't working because of Sarr, and that's why he's leaving Johnson there, because those are the two players that are in contention to not be there right now. And people may say, okay, well, what about Bergvall? Couldn't you have played Johnson still or Odegaard instead on the right and put Bergvall there instead of Sarr? I got a lot of questions about
to be fair to Brennan Johnson, the folks, and Bobby, this next bit is for you in regards to Brennan Johnson, because look, there was a comment from In the Bin 2K, and the entirety of the show has been like, hey guys, calm down on Brennan Johnson. In other words, has used other words like for fuck's sake, but in lighter terms has been saying, guys. They said I could say whatever I want, so
really?
They said run it how. They said run it however you want.
Ben messaged me a whole list of things I can't say. It was like a novel.
Big up Ben and Sim, man. Real quick, there's 500 people in the chat right now. Hit the like button for We Are Tottenham TV. It's 100%. Absolutely free. It costs nothing. And I will continue to put the links for everyone's channels in the chat. Please do subscribe to them. It costs nothing. And you're also supporting a fellow Tottenham fan and their endeavors. I've just put the link in for Ash, for Bobby K, and myself included. Look, we've all got some milestones coming up, but anyone who subs 1, 2, 10, 15, it all makes a difference for everybody's channel. So, and it costs nothing, but more importantly right now, hit a like on the video because it's free, helps everyone find this channel. And who doesn't want to have more pre-match pump ups here with Jacob from United Spurs America, Bobby, Ashmatic, and Nick Lazy 8. I love doing this. I'm having a great time, I'll be so honest. But look, Bobby, in regards to Brennan Johnson, I've seen people say Ainge out, he started Brennan again. I'm a little bit more on the side. I'm definitely not Ainge out. I'm very, very far. I'm still singing Ainge Postecoglou, banging my chest. I've got the kangaroo on a ball. So I'm very much not in that camp. However, when I try to be fair and balanced to every situation, I try. As again, attempt, it is a try. I am biased. I'm a Spurs fan. I mean, come on. But I am very upset when I watch him play. I get very frustrated and animated and aggravated, and a lot of words that do not positively reflect my love for the club.
Okay, before you go further with that, Jacob, then is he the only player that does that to you? No.
No, Timo Werner does it to me too.
That's
it's mostly these attacks. But Odebear is a player.
He's got some promise.
But Odebear is at least a player.
Know what the hell he's doing by now.
Well, regardless, though, I'm saying Odebear is a player that this manager has come out and said will play with the ball at his feet. He is a dribbler. He's not like all the other wingers we have. He is a dribbler, which is the most definitive statement. But hang on, this is the most definitive statement I can think of in an indictment of a player's lack of ability on the ball. When you get in a 19-year-old from Burnley that just got relegated and you say he is unlike any winger we have, he's a dribbler. That to me says no one else is a dribbler in this team. And that worries me because Brennan Johnson does not dribble well. He doesn't run into space well. He does, however, always hang out at that back post for the tap in, or he gets the easy tap in assist to Timo Werner opposite side. Are we going too soon on Brennan Johnson? Because clearly Ainge has stapled this name to his chest. This is one he's publicly said is mine. Dominic Solanke, another one. He said publicly, that is mine. Bobby, I want to know. Now, of course, I'm emotional and dramatic, so sure we can let that one just go by the wayside. But for you, where do you kind of see it with Brennan Johnson and the fans' kind of reaction to Brennan Johnson?
You know me. I'm the deluded happy clapper consistently. You put on that Spurs shirt, I think you're the greatest player on earth in that position. Regardless,
you didn't say that about Emerson Royale, though.
I never talked about him, and he's gone now, so we don't have to have that discussion. And all the nice things I said were from my man Barry. Big up, Nick.
That's fair. But, okay.
That's fair. In all honesty, you look at what he's doing, you look at the accomplishments he has, you look at the progression, you look at what our expectations are, you look at the opportunities he's been given. As far as I'm concerned, he hasn't taken advantage of them fully. He doesn't seem like he's integrated fully. He doesn't look like he's owning that position. If he was, you wouldn't have 4 people right here discussing why he shouldn't be playing or why somebody else should be there or why we should have different options. The only thing I see when I look at this lineup, though, is that front three looks like they are just set up to stretch that back line and push them back as far as they can. So the people that can actually work with the ball in Madison and Kulu can come in behind them and hopefully do something out of that kind of false nine role. I'm looking at that and thinking that Johnson is nothing more than a pace merchant. And I remember my boy Kuva saying he's a pace merchant without pace now because it doesn't seem like he can even run by a guy, which is exceedingly frustrating. The fact that this kid can't cross a ball either. We've got wingers that can't put a ball in the box, and we went and got a kid that can actually head the ball in. We got 120 million spent on 2 strikers, and neither of them are getting service. Is that their fault, or is it our wingers' fault? Sonny doesn't seem to be able to getting the ball in there anymore either. Is he going to be better in the center forward role? Is that where we need to see him play now? I don't know. But when it comes down to Johnson, this kid needs to learn way too much. And I think our patience as fans has run out, and rightfully so, because there's a certain amount of quality that's expected when you spend that kind of money on a player. And right now he's looking like he was worth maybe less than half of what we paid for him. And the guys that actually have the football knowledge, I'm surrounded by right now. So, fellas, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, Ash, I want to ask you this too. In the same regards, but I want to sprinkle a little caveat in there because Mikey Moore, for me, before we brought Odebear, I said quite confidently I felt Mikey Moore is the most talented right winger that we have at this club. Whether that's an indictment of how we're run in regards to recruitment for right wingers, or Mikey Moore is just that level of a talent. But he's, again, 2 matches, not involved on the bench whatsoever. The youth movement kind of seems like it's still youthy in a way because we've gotten some old people out and some young bloods in. But no Mikey Morgan, that's an academy boy. Lucas Bergvall, Archie Gray is not our academy. They are homegrown, but not.
Didn't he pick up a knock?
Mikey Moore? No, Will Lancashire did. Will Lancashire's out for 2 weeks.
Yeah, okay. The striker.
So, but Mikey Moore, he's fine, and I think he scored for the U21 game. But Ash, what do you think it's like me? I feel like Ainge is playing Brennan Johnson to continue to give him these chances because he has stapled this name to his chest. Do you see it as maybe he sees something about the game, about Brennan Johnson's game that we don't? Maybe he listens to Ainge the best. He does exactly what Ainge is. I don't know. I couldn't imagine Ainge when he's like, hey, when the ball's at your feet and there's green grass in front of you, don't run, cut back and pass backwards. And in fact, instead of doing all that, just slip over the ball like Jacob in the warm-ups for his rec game when the scouts were watching. I'm a goalie, by the way, so an old school goalie like Hugo Lloris. Don't give me the ball at my feet. I don't know where it's going.
Run into that green patch.
So, what do you think it is? I'll be slightly sarcastic there, but Ash, I want to hear from
you. Just a little, big guy, just a little.
Let me break it down. Yeah. So there's I call like players that you can watch to look aesthetically pleasing, right? Which get the fans on board, gets bums off seats. And when you think of a winger traditionally, you think of a winger taking on his man. Now, Johnson does it slightly different. He's a person that would run in behind and stretch that way, if that makes sense. What he's good at is creating a separation between his opponent and himself and getting those crosses off, where some wingers will get on, they're really good technically, but they take long to cross the ball into the box, so they might cut back onto their favorite foot or they might overhit the cross, whereas Johnson just does it on the floor, fires it across the 6-yard box, bread and butter. And that's why his numbers are his numbers at the moment, because a lot of people are saying, he's got 10 assists and 5 goals. That's 15 goal contributions from how
he's getting into good positions. That's what that tells me. Regardless of how good he is on or off the ball, he's getting in good positions.
This is basically what it is. So I think maybe Ange is seeing it that we've got 2 different profiles of player. One that's going to be a threat where he can take 2 or 3 players in and draw players towards him, and one player that is just effective of putting that ball in straight away, doesn't think twice about it. And so you've got 2 different types of attacking players on either flank. Rather than having 2 dribbly wingers, you're having 1 dribbly winger and 1 winger that might, run on the outside and stretch the play in a different way. That's my only logical thought of it. And then also, at times, if he does swap with Son, and he plays closer to the goal, he's a man that can also stretch the defense, running behind and maybe get a shot off or get a shot on goal. He hasn't demonstrated that too many times, and that's why everyone's looking at me like, what? When has Johnson done that? Do you know what I mean? But obviously, he did that more for Forest, and maybe that's the thinking on the manager. I'm just trying to be logical out here. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying that might be the options and the reason why he's gone for a Johnson rather than a Kulu there, because Kulu will get on the ball, but he will take time. He will pause on the ball. He will ponder, cut back onto the left foot, and then put it into the box, as opposed to Johnson first time whips it in. Am I making sense? But yeah, that's my only.
You are making sense. No, and I do. This is why, you know, Ash, I just love listening to you talk, and I'm supposed to be hosting, and you're one of the guys that I always say, like, you should be up there with all the biggest people on YouTube, in my opinion, as far as your ball knowledge, your tactical analysis, your player analysis. Like, I really rate your opinion.
And he's pretty.
So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt that you're a good-looking fella too. So, those are all good things for you. But before we do score predictions, so if you're new and you're like, why is this American hosting We Are Tottenham TV pre-match pump up? It's because they asked me to, so you can hold that. But secondly, it's because I like to have a good time. And thirdly, I do things the way that I want to do them. There's 630 people here, but I will get to as many score predictions in the chat as I can. I've put it in the chat. Give me your score predictions in the chat. I love to know what y'all think is going to happen. But Nick, I have one more question, and then I want you to give me your score prediction, and then I will ask the rest of the folks. But Nick, I'm going to start with you. I haven't talked about Son at all today because he's my GOAT. He's my Korean king.
You mean that dude right there? That guy?
Yeah. Well, you look. It's showing us more of your butt there, but I did see the 7. Yeah. There we go. Oh, that's the Son with the is that the one with the graphic and the number? That's pretty sick.
You know how we do. You know how.
No, that's nasty. I got my my Destiny shirt on right now. You see that?
Oh, that's gorgeous too.
I got the Destiny 13. But anyway,
oh, we're doing this, right? Oh, okay.
No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're running out of time. But Nick, Heung-min Son Heung-min, my Korean king, my capitano, el capitano. Heung-min Dad, as I like to refer to him as well. Good first 45, I would say, meh. Good first 45. Second 45, I didn't know he was out there. A little disappointed.
Yeah.
He's got to be the one to step up. I've asked for him to be more selfish. What do you think of Son so far? What are you expecting from Son? And then again, tell me what you think is going to transpire in this match, and what's your score prediction? Who's scoring the goals?
I think everything fell apart for everybody in that second half last week, and I'm not putting the blame right on Son. There was a leadership issue, certainly, but I found it to be a little bit further back where we needed more galvanization in there. I'm still trying to wrap my head around what this formation is going to be, and if it's going to be possibly Odegaard on the left and Johnson staying on the right, there's no way from what we saw with the low block teams last year that he's putting Son through the middle. So is it going to be sort of he starts in the middle, but he's playing double 10s with James Maddison? I think that's a very interesting thing. If you're trying to get clinical people to be put through by Kulu hold-up play, I think we can see more from Son. And I think that maybe it's just trying something new, you know? Yeah, where you take the pressure off of Son to be the front man, to be taking all the abuse, and you're opening up space for him in a different way. And you're allowing Odegaard to be the dribbly winger that draws people in, that opens up space for other people as well. So I'm seeing something from Son this one. If Ange's tactic, if it's a crazy tactic, you know, and it works, I see, you know, at least one goal from Son this one. I'm going the very uninspired, the one we saw most of last year. I think it's a 3-1. I think we're going to concede because we do. We concede every freaking game. You know, so you know, and it's going to be on a set piece. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's nothing new. But
we didn't last week. We technically in the Premier League we have, but technically, Nick, I do want to sprinkle a little bit of my factual research here. We haven't conceded a set piece goal in the Premier League since Ainge said it's not a problem. Now, I know all preseason we were conceding left and right on the set pieces, but that's not my point. I said Premier League specifically because I think Ainge is doing like Spurs fans got real upset with him when he was like, that was my first time I was like, wow, really? You don't think it's a problem when we've conceded so many off of it and we just got knocked out the FA Cup by a set piece, and it was like this looming shadow over us. For me, I was like, okay. He said it's not a problem. He said it's not a problem. We didn't concede.
from that first 10 matches last season, we didn't see from a set piece either. So there's a way we can keep it tight. We just lost the plan, lost the plot completely. Against this Dyche team, I think it's going to be very difficult to not give up set pieces and not concede from set pieces. So
yeah, I agree.
I'm expecting one goal in there, but I'm expecting I'm going to go a brace from Son because he's going to be put through, and people, the way he's set up now, Dyche, they're not going to know what to do with Son in particular.
Son brace.
Son's going to have more of a free roam. They're going to have more of a conventional layout with all the other players, but Son is going to have a free roam, and they're going to be confused by what Son's going to do. Plus, Odegaard is going to be there as the unknown factor. So I'm going 3-1, and I'm going with a Prue in the second half.
Okay. Sonny brace and a Prue. Very nice. The pigeons are coming out today, Bobby. At least according to Nick. What is your score prediction, my friend? Do we keep a clean sheet? I've only seen 2 predictions here in the chat so far of a clean sheet. Joe said 2-0, and then I saw 3-0 from Good Head. So there you go. Bobby K.
I know that
the username is a little crazy, I'll be honest. But Bobby, what's your score prediction? Who's scoring the goals for Tottenham?
First off, let's get this off my chest right now. I've never had this issue before, but it has come up. Nick, you've lost your plot. You've lost the plot. You're absolutely mad.
All right, that's not the first time I've been told that either.
I know how much football knowledge you have. I'm very disappointed with you. By the way, still love that sweater you sent me. Thanks, big guy. Honestly, I think we can get a clean sheet, only because they're in a situation where they've got a lot of Band-Aid fill-ins right now. They are a very hurt team. I think the way we're set up, we are going to attack them and attack them very quickly. I'm hoping that we can get an early goal that just kind of squishes them, crushes their morale, takes them out of the game right now. By the 20th minute, they're already lying down and their heads are down and they're walking around crying and get big slap left and right. Johnson was 4 today. You watch, boys. You watch.
Johnson was 4. I'm buying a 22.
That's my heart and my head. Honestly, I think it's going to be. I think it is not an easy, but I think we should easily be able to at least pull off a 2-0 victory here. They're coming off a really bad beating last week. They Brighton 3-0, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Was it 3-0? Okay, and they were
believe
at
it.
Home.
I turned it off when it was 2-0.
3-0. Who? Sorry, but who was at home, Nick?
It was at Everton.
Okay, so I think their morale is low. I know we didn't get the result we wanted, but I don't think we played poor enough that our team's head should be down. I think there was enough good things in there. Like we saw the first 15, 20 minutes of the game was very attacking, very progressive. We were looking really good. I just hope we could start the same way, but finish those opportunities that we get. That's going to be the major difference in how we're going to be impacting these games. The quick starts are great, but if you don't do anything with those opportunities, it doesn't mean jack in the end, right? I really think that this is a game that we have to take off flying. I know you were asking before, is this a must-win game? This early in the season, I know it can be argued because you could say, yeah, every game's a must-win game when you're talking about people winning the title with 1 loss on the entire season or because they get 2 draws or something like that. It's every point.
Well, we've got 1 draw. We're on our way to win the titles, what it sounds like.
Oh, the quad's still on, baby!
The quad is on technically until it's not. So, you know what? I should have ended with you, Bobby K, because I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. I need kickoff.
I got more, baby.
Bobby.
I got more. This coffee's starting to kick in now.
Yeah, me too, but not in the ways you're hoping for. Ash, tell me now. Okay, he's got me thinking Johnson with a hat 4. If Johnson scores 4 goals today, on my life, I will buy a Brennan Johnson kit. I swear.
If he scores 4 today, I'll buy it for you.
Okay, we heard it.
It's gonna be a knockoff though. I'm Indian. I'm cheap.
A $20 knockoff, bro. I bought this. It took 3 weeks to come in from China. I don't care. But Ash,
Brighton scored 2-1 to Brighton.
2-1 to Brighton. It was 2-1 to United, wasn't it before?
No, it was 1-1.
It was 1-1 last.
That goal was disallowed.
Oh, United's goal was disallowed. Okay.
Ash,
Brighton.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, focus. Sorry.
Yeah. We are running out of time here, buddy. But I need you to tell me what's going to happen. Who's scoring the goals?
We're definitely winning. I'm gonna say, you know what? Kulu might get on the sheet. I think that midfield is going to be interchangeable.
Paulie Cooper agrees with you.
When he came on, I thought he did a lot. I think you might be right. Richie might come on and do something. I'm not as big as fan, but it's against Everton, and he likes to turn up against Everton. So
Yeah,
I can see
He
him.
does like.
I can see him coming on doing some damage. I'll be real. So yeah, man, I'm gonna go 3. I'm hoping we don't concede, but there's a little small, like a little glimmer of doubt in me that we might concede, but it's not going to be the end of the world. It depends the type of goal we concede, but I expect us to put our foot on their throats. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think we're going to do them damage.
But who?
But what's the number?
Who?
Give the number, Ash. Say it.
3-1.
He said 3-1, but
same as Nick. You guys are so negative.
Look at that. You have offended the Canadian. Ash, did you say who scored the goals, or was I just? Did you say who's scoring goals?
I said 2 of them. I said Kulu will get 1. I've said Richarlison will probably come on and score.
I knew there was one missing. We got a mystery goal. What was it? Kuti?
I'm not sure if it's Poro.
Kuti?
I'm hoping it's Poro.
Maybe a Kuti. I'm thinking a Kuti header on a corner. I need a Kuti header. He scored in the season opener last year, or the second game last year, I think it was. One of the two. I need it again. Come on, Kuti.
I'm saying Poro, but yeah, you can say Kuti. I leave that for you, bro. I don't want to.
Well, is Poro going to play the full 90 though? Because didn't he? He was a bit of
he's good to go.
But he ended up training.
He was hurt. Ainge said he's good to go.
But will he play the 90?
He might not.
I don't think. I wouldn't be surprised to see.
I think we're going to see a good chunk of Jed Spence today, maybe.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some Jed Spence. I'll be honest.
Maybe 20 minutes, half hour, even out of the kid.
I'm free. I'm with the Jedi. So yeah, man, I'm full Spence. Bring him on.
Hey, and big up everybody who did get their predictions in the chat. I saw a lot of 2-1, 3-1s. And that's kind of the general vibe that I've had. However, there's been 2 3-1 predictions on the panel. Last week, I predicted a 4-1.
So negative.
And I was... Now, Bobby K left in a storm earlier, but he may completely close the computer screen when he hears my prediction. I'm thinking it's going to be a stinky 2-1 win. Because I actually got a lot of respect for Sean Dyche. I think the way I think the way he sets up his team,
these North Americans, man, know nothing.
He's gonna know how much we're gonna be on his neck. Like Ash said, everyone and their mother knows how much Ainge tactics will be all over Dyche ball. But I respect him a lot as a manager that even with all of these, they're going to be stinky defensively. And it's going to be a problem for us to break down with a lack of creativity. However, I pray that I'm wrong. And James Madison says, I've got the key to open up the box of creativity. Because he does, but he just lost the keys and he doesn't have the Find My Keys thing on his iPhone.
You got to factor in Basuma's got something to prove too. This kid's coming back. He's coming back, and he's got to make Daddy happy again now. So what happens the first? You come home with an F. You come home with an F on that test. What do you better do? You better get an A on that damn report card next one, son. So I have a feeling that this boy is going to turn up, and we're going to see the Basuma that we saw in that first 8-10 games that we saw last year. I'm really hoping so that he comes out and he just bashes everything that comes in anywhere near that middle. And I really think that Dyche is a great manager. We can't deny that. But he's more, I think, a defensively, tactically smart manager. He knows how to not concede goals, but he does. I don't think he knows how to push forward to get them. And again, with them lacking in so many areas right now, and with the injuries and stuff, and they're coming to our house. I think it's a long bus ride back, and with a very upset bunch of players.
I think also.
Come on, baby, I got you.
Like just to add on to that, last season Braithwaite was a problem. That tall 6 foot boy, he's a beast.
No Braithwaite.
Nope. I think he was, and he's good at playing out from the back. He helps them. Tchaikovsky, I was hoping he'd be out, but it is what it is. But James Garner, I felt as well in possession. It was like the pass before the switch. He was really good. Also, when they was always looking for their kids, I'll forget his name on the wing. Bloody hell, he used to play for Burnley. I forgot his name. It's gone now. But yeah, I just think there's a few key injuries that
Dwight McNeil.
That's it. Yeah. Dwight McNeil.
Yeah, he is starting.
Yeah, he's starting, but again, they normally switch the play to him, and they're missing a few players that were able to get on the ball. and able to feed them. So I'm hoping that will be also a factor the way we move forward. Because I did think James Garner in the last game he played him, I thought he played quite well, in my opinion. But yeah, that's it.
Very nice. Well, look, this has been a fantastic pump up. I think I brought the mood down with my 2-1 prediction, but it's just because I said 4-1, and then I was just thinking about how stinky that age.
All three of you said we're conceding. Shame on all three of you.
Wait, what did you say? 5-0?
No, in my heart I said 6-0 with Johnson with
6-0.
4. In my head I went 2-0 with a Sonny one and then Richie to come on and pop one in the second half.
My other prediction was actually a 2-0. That I think it could be a little bit lower in scoring of
Get
us. I know we
positive then,
averaged
Jacob. Come on, man. I know it's 7:30 in the morning there.
Yeah.
Let's go. 2-0.
Come on, boys. I like
let
that.
Nick and Ash influence you.
You know what else I like? Yeah,
we're just living in the real world, Bobby boy. We're just living in the real world.
That place sucks,
the
man.
real,
the
realism.
Get out there.
No, but I hear you're allowed.
Here,
I think you're allowed to be slightly, in the clouds, in the pump up. It's a pump up.
That's the only
It's a
place.
pump up.
It's a pump up.
Baby.
What are you gonna do? Get
Yeah,
mad at me for getting excited?
More optimistic than usual.
Yeah,
the pump up. What's the point?
exactly.
My
How am I gonna pump you up if I'm sitting here saying?
Death.
No, but think about it. Realistically, if I'm hosting a pump-up show and I'm like, hey, you're in debt, you're overweight, your car's tires are low air pressure, your kids actually don't like you, you should hear what your wife says behind your back. Oh, but go out there and have a good time at Disneyland, everybody. Oh. You'd be like, what? How am I supposed to go have fun? You just told me I'm overweight. My bank account's overdrafted. My car's tire pressure's low. Like all these bad things. And then you said, go have a good day. Go have fun with everything that I just said was so bad about your life. That's not what I'm going to do, and that's not how I live my life. I do like a little bit of realism. I'm bringing myself back down because I was so overconfident last week. Like, we are going to dismantle these foxes. I quoted The Fox and the Hound, you know, the intro where it's on the little fox. That's what I was trying to do.
You've got Newcastle coming up. You can do it for that one. Yeah? Newcastle, I promise you, you're allowed to come back to real world. We've also got Arsenal coming up. And amongst other games, we've also got Man U coming soon. So there's that time. But right now, against Everton at home,
champion morning dance, baby. Let's go. Come on. In 28 minutes, we're going to be kicking the ball. And in 29, we'll be celebrating a goal. Let's go.
Come on, man.
Come on, Nick. Hey, you know you want to dance, baby. This is
I'm going to change it. I'm going to go. We're going to score 5. We're going to score 5, but we're still going to concede.
Yeah, but we're scoring 5, baby. Hey, if we score 5-1, hey, 5-1, come on, 5-1, let's go.
I think 5-1.
Oh man, I've had so much fun. This is what it's all about, folks. Thank you so much for joining us today. Look, I've put the link for these fine people and myself in the chat throughout the entirety of the show. Subscribe to Bobby K. He's almost at 1K. Subscribe to Ashmatic over there at Spurs Kings TV. Fantastic Tuesday, Wednesday night show. I highly recommend if you want to learn things. Tune in. Ash will school you all. You need to start a side channel called Ash Taking Your Ass to School. Because you're taking people to school, and I like it. And here's my channel.
And when you are watching Ash, make sure you bring this.
Because there will be a quiz at the end of every show. All right. And here's my channel. I'm like 10 subscribers away from 5,000. If you wouldn't mind helping to continue to push the America's #1. United States of America's #1. Because when I say America, I don't know about Mexico. I haven't checked Mexico Spurs.
America.
So they might have a bigger one. But look, this has been so much fun. I've really enjoyed it. Lots of good vibes, lots of good conversations. I feel like we've been realistic and dreamers because I feel like the sweet spot's somewhere right there in the middle. And speaking of in the middle, stay right here. You will be going to We Are Tottenham TV's watch along. I'm not sure who's in the studio today. They didn't give me that on the morning briefing. There wasn't a morning briefing, by the way. There's no morning. There's no morning briefings on YouTube, by the way. That's not a thing. I just made that up. I woke up at 5 a.m. for this. So I hope y'all have enjoyed it. Hit the like button before you leave, because that tells Ben and Sim you enjoyed the show as much as I did. But as always, folks, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Let's go.